evening and welcome to this edition of Newsleader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, Motlow had a guest speaker last week for their Black History Month presentation. Tullahoma High School will receive grant money to help with special education students, and Tullahoma Airport makes a large economic impact to the area. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental healthcare needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
Hello, I'm Ray Noyes, and as Mayor of Tullahoma, I'm strongly urging all of our citizens to follow the guidelines of CDC in helping control this virus, COVID-19. But I'm especially advising all of us to wear face coverings or masks anytime we're in a social setting where we can't maintain a distance of 6 feet or more. So be kind to your neighbor, wear your mask.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Welcome back. Motlow State Community College recently observed Black History Month with a virtual presentation by the director of the University of Wyoming Black Studies Center, Frederick Douglass Dixon, whose presentation was titled "The Death of Black Wall Street and the Myth of the American Dream."
Greetings, colleagues, Motlow family, community members, and members that are beyond our quote-unquote normal reach and scope and breadth. You are welcome here today. We're thankful for your time and your effort to lend your ears, your hearts, and your minds towards dreams deferred that we are bringing to fruition. Introducing Dr. Frederick Douglass Dixon is my pleasure. It is an honor to bring him back to Motlow in the capacity of a speaker to speak today about the death of Black Wall Street and the myth of the American dream. Dr. Dixon comes to us from the University of Wyoming, where he's the director of the Black Studies Center. In the celebration of Motlow and in the celebration of African American and or Black History Month, I welcome you. Dr. Dixon is not just a scholar and a gentleman. I use gentleman loosely. He is also a person who's become a friend, a confidant, and my brother in the work that we do together. So I will yield the floor in this hour of time for his blessings that he'll share with us today. Thank you in advance for the nuggets, Dr. Dixon. We're honored and appreciate you giving it to us today.
Thank you. And I'm beyond words at this point to say how grateful I am to be back at Motlow State. And I can remember this starting a couple years ago when I met some really dynamic scholars at a conference, and we were in Louisville, and the young lady said, "Would you be interested in coming to Motlow State?" I said, "Absolutely." And before you know it, I had a phone call from Mrs. Cannon. And at that point, the doors of Motlow opened, and it became a place where I understood that it was very important to share what I thought was important about the esoteric information and the role that Blacks have played in Americans' tapestry. So today will be in that vein, that we'll look at this particular event as one of the seminal events in American history, bar none, that needs to be dissected in a very critical manner, using empirical evidence and using social movements and using the idea of what's been wiped away from history as a way to add to, extend, dismantle, interrupt, and disrupt the major narrative, the dominant narrative. So we look at this in a very serious way. Well, we're talking about the death of Black Wall Street. And why are we talking about the death of Black Wall Street? Well, it's an event that we should always talk about. But I want to stop and say thanks to all the laborers. And I got to stop and say I want to thank President Torrance, who is indeed for you all and for the field of higher ed and beyond exactly what's needed at this point in America, as we see the crumbling, if you will, the beginning of the end of white supremacy. So it's very important that we understand that for the most part, when we think about the role of Blacks as being generally subservient to whites, that it may be, and I'll bless you with this, I really believe this, it may be a Black man that will save the world. Well, we've seen that before. So to understand President Torrance and his dedication and his skill level, please understand that it is far outside of the average. So please make sure you understand that. Well, you see the name, Frederick Douglass Dixon. I'm only Dixon on payday. Dixon is a constant reminder of the missing history that comes along with being in my family. Now, what I do understand about the Dixon name, it's a Scottish name. It also would remind us of at least 1619 to 1865, the transatlantic slave trade. And if I were to have the name Dixon, I would probably be the most unique Scottish man that you've ever seen in your life. So in many ways, this does not allow for me to do anything but point to what's happened, the accurate story of what happened to people who look just like me. So we chase this, we don't trace this. We chase this name back to a place in Mississippi that's called Aberdeen, Mississippi. And this part is true, whether it be ironic or whether it just be something that you can take for true. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I grew up on a street called Aberdeen. So to look at it that way, I'm connected in so many ways, but disconnected in more ways than I'm connected to a last name.
The entire presentation is available on our YouTube page and Facebook page. We'll be right back in a moment with more News Leader on 6.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
My great-grandfather started it in 1900, and now it's 2020, which is 120 years. We still measure your feet, still try to help you find a good fit. We're just a good old-fashioned shoe store where we'll measure your feet, make sure you're in the right size, and help you find a comfortable shoe for men, women, and children.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
This pandemic has hit us hard, but Tennesseans don't stay down for long. We're known for our resilience, and we refuse to back down from a challenge. This challenge is no different. You might be out of work, but there's an opportunity waiting for you. We need you to roll up your sleeves and join our workforce. Right now, thousands of jobs are ready to be filled. Find them at jobsfortn.gov. Let's get to work, Tennessee.
Welcome back. An annual report released by the Alzheimer's Association reveals the burden of Alzheimer's and dementia on individuals, caregivers, government, and the nation's healthcare system. The accompanying special report, Race, Ethnicity, and Alzheimer's in America, examines the perspectives and experiences of Asian, Black, Hispanic, Native, and White Americans in regard to Alzheimer's and dementia care. The report also examines the devastating impact the COVID-19 pandemic is having on people living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. In this video, the Alzheimer's Association asks people to share the facts and join the fight. The IRS has a help video to explain how to set up an online account and view your tax information on the IRS's website to get lots of helpful information.
Did you know you can set up an online account at irs.gov to view your tax information? Well, you can. This could save you a lot of time because you can get your tax information much faster using an online account than by calling the IRS. One important thing you can do with an online account is look up the amounts of your total economic impact payments. Some taxpayers may need that specific number to determine if they're eligible to claim the recovery rebate credit when they file their taxes. Keep in mind that most taxpayers already receive the total amounts as economic impact payments and won't qualify for this credit. You can also get specific information from your most recent tax return, find out how much tax you owe, view your payment history and all payments, see your annual balances, review the details of any payment plans you have, and get digital copies of some notices the IRS sent you. To get started, visit irs.gov/account. Click on Create or View Your Account and follow the prompts, and you'll be guided through the process of setting up your online account. Now, to protect your personal information, the IRS will verify your identity when you register. To learn more about that process, visit irs.gov/secure access.
You can get started at www.irs.gov. More news is coming up in just a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. Last week, the Tennessee Department of Education announced that 18 schools have been selected to participate in the first cohort of the Teaching All Students Initiative, referred to as TAS, to serve students with the most significant cognitive disabilities through a 5-year, $5.5 million state personnel development grant. The first cohort of this initiative will strengthen instructional practices in schools across the state to better support students with significant cognitive disabilities. The TAS initiative will fund teaching or training, coaching, and tools to help high school teachers and staff build an accessible learning environment for all students, with the goals of reaching the achievement gap and increasing the graduation rate and enrollment in post-secondary education through inclusive higher education, technical colleges, community colleges, and competitive integrated employment for students with complex needs. State Commissioner Penny Schwinn said, quote, "Through this grant, the department is able to launch the Teaching All Students Initiative to provide an opportunity for schools across the state to focus on supports for our students with complex needs to help them reach their fullest potential. All students deserve access to a high-quality education, and this grant provides highly requested technical assistance to support our teachers as they provide instructions to students with disabilities," end quote. From across the state, high school teams composed of a school administrator, general education teachers, special education teachers, and district special education directors submitted applications for the opportunity to participate in TAS training, coaching, and technical assistance. The area schools selected to participate in the TAS initiative are Cascade High School in Bedford County, McMinn County High School, Tullahoma High School, Tullahoma City Schools. Additionally, selected schools will receive many grants for implementation of the TAS initiative. Through a competitive process, additional partners will be selected to help schools implement this work. Administered through the Office of Special Education Programs within the United States Department of Education, the State Personnel Development Grant Program assists state education agencies and their partners to improve results for children and disabilities through systems of professional development and dissemination of knowledge about the best practice to educators and families. The grant builds on the department's previous state personnel development grants and supports teachers in providing students with disabilities with meaningful access to and participation in standards-aligned instructions. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Here at Stan McNabb Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Stan McNabb, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Stan McNabb Collision Center.
Welcome back. The Tennessee Department of Transportation has completed a year-long statewide aviation economic impact study, finding Tennessee's public-used airports contribute $40 billion to the state's economy and support 220,936 jobs in Tennessee. There are 6 commercial service airports and 72 general aviation airports in Tennessee. The study analyzed the economic impacts of Tullahoma's airport and found the airport contributes $21 million to the state's economy. The study analyzed the economic impacts of on-airport activities, off-airport activities, multiplier impacts, and freight or cargo. Examples of on-airport activities include economic impacts from business tenants, airport construction spending, and airport employment. Off-airport impacts include visitor spending. Visitor spending at the Tullahoma Airport generated $1.5 million in revenue to the state in 2019. Analysts found that on-airport impacts generated 149 jobs, $7.5 million in payroll, and $11.5 million in business revenue. Tullahoma Mayor Ray Noyes said, quote, "I am very happy to see the economic impact the airport contributes to Tullahoma. I look forward to the airport attracting more business and employees for our area with the 100-acre airport business park," end quote. Tullahoma Airport falls in Region 2 of the state's airports, which stretches from the Kentucky border to the Georgia and Alabama line, with 24 counties and 19 airports. Tullahoma Airport ranks second behind Chattanooga's Lowell Field in economic impact in Region 2. This economic impact study represents the 2019 annual economic impact of the aviation system on the state's economy. Therefore, the study is a good representation of the annual economic impact of the aviation system during a non-pandemic world. TDOT Commissioner Clay Bright said that Tennessee's 78 public use airports are critical components of the state's transportation network, linking and providing access to regional, national, and global transportation systems. Tullahoma Airport is an asset to our local community and Tennessee's $40 billion aviation industry. Airports serve as a catalyst for people to conduct business, serve clients, and ship cargo. Having a well-maintained and diverse aviation system supports a robust economy. I spoke last week with Master Gardener Charlie Graham about Tennessee's Tree Day and how people can participate in the annual tree planting event.
Jim, we have coming up here real soon is a Tennessee Tree Day.
Uh-huh.
And what we do is we are working with, there's a clip on the screen right now that will tell you some about it. It tells you that if you want to pick up a tree or several trees, there's I think it's $1.99 donation that's asked for the trees each. There are several trees that we offer. We need to get the orders in by the 7th of March. After the 7th of March.
Are you buying the trees from the state, or are you buying them from your organization?
We get them from the Tennessee Tree Council.
I see.
Or Environmental Council, I'm sorry. That's who we get them from. Now these trees they're seedling type trees. They're not potted in soil.
Right.
So they're like anywhere from a foot to 3 foot, depending on the variety of tree that you want to get.
And they're easier to plant, I guess, that way, right?
Well, they're easier in some respect because you don't have all the big tub of dirt you've got to deal with.
Right.
But you can take the seedling, you put it in the ground, you dig a hole, you put it in the ground, water it, loose soil around it. A lot of times you got to stake it so that it doesn't fall over because the ground is loose until it gets the roots set up. But we expect to have great numbers this year. Last year we had about 6,000 volunteers that got trees and planted over 42,000 trees.
Oh my goodness.
Now when those trees mature, it will give a canopy cover to over 500 acres. And that's what we're looking at. So by the end of 2025, the goal for the Tennessee Environmental Agency is to plant over 1 million trees.
Pretty lofty goal there.
Pretty lofty goal, but we're working on it. We're getting more and more volunteers every year and people that want to buy trees and to plant them. So we're doing really good with that.
And Charlie, I guess all of those trees are trees that would grow well in this environment in Tennessee.
Jim, all these trees are native to this area of Tennessee.
I see.
Tennessee, because we are spread so wide across the nation, we are broke into 3 different sections. So trees that we have available are available for Central Tennessee, Middle Tennessee.
Right.
They may not be the same ones that you would get if you were in Eastern Tennessee or in Western Tennessee.
Right, I see.
Okay, these are native plants for us here.
Right.
The trees will be in March the 19th and 20th for pickup. That's on a Friday and Saturday.
And where is the pickup point?
The pickup point is at the UT Ag Extension Office in Manchester.
Okay.
That's a CCAP building.
Right.
That's at 1331 MacArthur Street in Manchester.
Okay. All right. Charlie, very interesting subject. Thank you so much for coming by today.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental healthcare needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor, too, when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
This is the face of a fighter.
I'm fighting to keep Tennesseans working.
I'm fighting for time with my friends.
I'm fighting for football on Saturday.
I'm fighting to see my students back in the classroom.
We're fighting for our small business.
I'm fighting to keep my family safe.
Whatever you're fighting for, it's time for all Tennesseans to fight back. Until there's a vaccine for COVID-19, this is the face of a fighter. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1976 at 81 degrees. The record low was in 1943 at 9 degrees. Average high on this day is 57, and the average low is 35. For tonight, look for mostly clear weather with a low of 35. Partly sunny weather expected on Friday with a high of 56 and a low of 33. And on Saturday, sunny weather in the forecast as we start the weekend with a high of 52 and a low of 28. And that's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a good evening.